How far away are we from the primaries now, my friends? Look at you all. James, Belinda, Donald, Dan, Mary, Dan. Again, sometimes it comes in twice. I don't know why that is. Regina, Kevin, Liz, Patricia, Joanne, Stephen, Lawrence. Good to see all you people. Spam glam. All right. Wonderful day. Oh, hi, Michelle. Great to see Michelle here. I like doing these wonderful talks. Hi, Soso. Gene, yesterday I had a nice talk. I got to be on the Matt McNeil show, AM radio. I'll have to share that. I have that somewhere. Maybe I'll share it in the replay. I got a chance to jump on. Progressive radio is really fun. They let me come on and kind of talk. I'm kind of curious. I think I did a good job. Um, I was able to say my catchphrases like we teach US history like it's the Epstein files and we need to stop billionaire welfare because we just hand over money to billionaires. That's how billionaires exist. And, got to go through a lot of different things like that. I like to emphasize, when we teach US history like it's the Epstein files, what we overlook is the fact that white supremacists throughout the history of the United States have always robbed, they've always stolen elections. We see Republicans doing it even today. They do it openly. The SAVE Act is an effort to steal an election. That is what they do. And they constantly accuse us of what they themselves are, the crimes they themselves are committing. But today I wanted to talk to you about Blue MAGA because they've been coming out in droves since yesterday. And what is that? And that's just the new phrase I have for this contingent within the Democrats that deliberately allows white supremacists to steal elections. We know this happened. We all know that the Democratic Party sabotaged Kamala Harris. Read her book. She doesn't expressly state it, but if you read it, you can see how there are all these places. My friend Natasha Kaye worked with, she might show up today yet. She's wonderful. She worked with the Kamala Harris campaign. She was subjected to racism. And again, you guys, these things aren't fringe theories. These are verifiable facts. I am upset with myself a little bit that I didn't go out after Tallarico a little harder. But that was in the early stages when we were just looking for anything. But folks, the answer is not James Tallarico. And I'll get into why that is. Well, the main reason is he's had James Carville involved with his campaign since the beginning. I've referenced it multiple times. James Carville, in my opinion, makes openly racist statements. You talk to somebody, my wonderful friends in the Black community, they say a guy like James Carville insults them. His comment to Obama, he told Obama to go take a toke on a crack pipe. You can't have people like that in your party. And it's interesting, though, because we see all these tactics from the Democrats when you are offering, and I offer constructive criticism because I want to defeat fascism. I offer constructive criticism. And clearly, the Democratic Party needs some constructive criticism because they keep losing. I'm a rational person. But there is too much within the Democratic Party, which is comply or die. And that's why I'm calling them Blue MAGA. Because what do they sound like? They want loyalty. They want instant allegiance to what they're saying. They don't want to hear any questions. We saw that with Hakeem Jeffries the other day when he was on with Waj. You ask reasonable questions and they flip out and start screaming at you. And it's like, look, answer the questions. We're supposed to be the side of reason. And it's interesting, though, because yesterday I was just talking about Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett is the only candidate that's a serious candidate in the Senate race. Tallarico is not qualified to be there. He's been a state representative. That's like somebody interviewing for a college job, and you've got one candidate who is the qualified Black woman who has taught at college for many years. And then you got a guy who's he's been like a daycare advisor, and they're like, well, they're equivalent. They're not equivalent. James Tallarico should not be in. He does not have the qualifications that Jasmine Crockett does. And we shouldn't be taking him seriously. He shouldn't be taken seriously. And there has been a lot of stuff coming out. I'm beginning to suspect that entire Stephen Colbert thing was a plant. And we know that the right does this. That whole thing was just designed to elevate his nationwide popularity. But we know that Republican-aligned elements stage media events in order to generate publicity. And then they say things like, how is that planned? Contrast. We shouldn't be he's an unknown quantity. He's been only on the national stage for a couple months. And this is not the way it works. You don't just elevate somebody who's an unknown. You put in somebody who has been in Congress. Hi, Polly. Jasmine Crockett has been in Congress. We've seen her work. We've seen her fight for us. We've seen her body of work. She stands up for the American people. And it doesn't make sense to hand over a 6-year, all the power that you get in a Senate seat, a 6-year Senate seat to somebody like Tallarico, who we don't really know. The process should be, you go from state, you go to Congress, you go to Senate, and you get some, and we shouldn't take things, and we're not in an era where we should be taking anything on faith, especially when everything that guy says, every other word came out of the Bible, we're facing, and I keep saying too, there are many branches on the tree of Christianity, Roman Catholics, Lutherans, Protestants. One of those branches is, I'll get to that. So one of those branches is the white nationalists. They call themselves the Christian nationalists. Everybody else calls them white supremacists. It is a rotten branch. It is a defilement of Christianity. But the problem is they are a genocidal defilement of Christian thinking, and they want to kill all the other branches. And that's why, and I would manage to say this on the progressive radio the other day, ICE is rounding up Roman Catholics. Everybody who comes up from South America because the United States kidnaps their president or destroys their economy in some way, and they are just desperate because their nation has been destroyed by the United States, they come to the border into the United States. South America, I lived there for 10 years. They are strongly Roman Catholic. And the Christian nationalists, the white supremacists, they're the KKK. There's a reason the KKK burn crosses. They're a Christian organization. They dress like priests. They want to kill the people who don't believe like they do, who don't think like they do. It's a religious war we're in. And they're rounding up Christians right now. This Republican administration is rounding up Christians. And that's something that needs to be said. As much as it's about race, it's about religion. Racism and religion really go together. All right, but Soso says, what do you think is so appealing about Tallarico to people? And the answer to that is, when a progressive candidate looks like they start gaining power, the DNC consolidates and attacks that progressive candidate. That's blue MAGA. We've seen it happen again and again. We saw it happen with Bernie Sanders. We saw it happen with Kamala Harris. They view a person like Jasmine Crockett as a threat to their power because she can generate funds and fundraise by herself. She doesn't have to listen to the establishment. The establishment has a lot of money. They can crush these progressive movements. It's happening in my district too. We have a wonderful candidate named Emily Berge. Her opponent is Rebecca Cook, who is sponsored by the Democratic Party. Washington is trying to tell the people of Wisconsin who should represent them. And what happens when blue MAGA in Washington pushes a guy down our throat, or a woman in this case. I'm glad Emily Berge is also a woman, because you can see the Democrats, they anoint their mediocre candidates. They anoint candidates who are more interested in appealing to moderate Republicans than appealing to the Democratic base. And again, I keep saying this. If you're more interested in appealing to moderate Republicans than Democrats, then run as a Republican. Tallarico should be running as a Republican. That would be great. I would love it if the Senate race came down to Tallarico and Jasmine Crockett. It's not going to, because we have the extreme fascist right wing of the Republican Party is going to run somebody's awful. Hi, Judith. But what I want everybody to know, we have to start being open. I had somebody the other day too, because I'm calling it blue MAGA, because there's people like Pelosi who shoots down Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. There's Clinton who, they, in court, it was determined that they rigged the primaries in 2015 to deny Bernie Sanders the nomination. And then Clinton goes on to lose. We have that establishment, the blue MAGA, the Democrats, the ones that do nothing. And I keep saying, in 2020, we gave the Democrats all the power they needed to stop the rise of fascism. They had presidency, control the House, control the Senate. And they didn't do anything. They didn't make the arrests they should, because they're complicit. They are just as much corrupt. They are blue MAGA. There is red MAGA on the right. There's blue MAGA in the center. And we have to empower more progressives, because blue MAGA will sabotage progressives and allow fascism to take over, because they make more. Yeah, I mean, Schumer, I mean, there's a whole bunch of them. Joe Manchin is. I mean, they blame Kamala Harris. It's like all they had to do was pass Build Back Better. If they'd have passed Build Back Better, we would have this progressive jolt forward. And I think that would have resulted in a victory all by itself, except I do believe that the Republicans cheated in 2024 because they cheat in every election. They're openly trying to cheat for the midterms. They don't even hide it. They do their gerrymandering, they do their voting purges, they spoil ballots and refuse to count them. They stole the election from Gore. And it's just we have to stop sitting here and pretending like we can't talk about election fraud. Let me see what this is. T's comment about Colin Alford is very revealing. It should be very concerning to anyone. Uh, oh, yeah, I think I know that. I'm not even going to repeat that comment because it's so bad. But go ahead and write it in there, Belinda, if you want to. But yeah, Tallarico has said some awful things, and the only reason people are holding him up, they're propping him up because the legacy media supports Blue MAGA and it hates progressives. And that's another critical thing why you have to find and follow people like me. That one I did, it was Matt McNeil's show. He was great. There are places where progressives are actually allowed to have a voice. And I am allowed to have constructive criticism about the Democrats. It's not comply with the Democrats or you're part of the enemy. This is how the scientific process works. I got a hair on my thing there. That's gross. Probably the dog's hair. But I'm allowed. I mean, we can't have this. We have to have constructive criticism. We have to have respectful arguments. When people, I had yesterday, I was putting out these things and somebody's like, well, you're being really divisive. I think your divisive attitude is wrong for the party. We have to unify. It's like, I'm not being divisive. It's the Blue MAGA's devices. And it's again, they accuse us of the crimes they're committing. They use all the tactics of Red MAGA. People like Pelosi and Schumer and Jeffries, they are just this feckless version of MAGA. They are more willing to attack a person like me who's trying to give them advice on how to win than they are to stand up to fascism. It took Democratic votes to fund ICE. They're doing that. They're guilty of it. There are Democrats who are pro-life. Pro-life is a white supremacy position. That is Blue MAGA. They take our money, they take our donations, and they use it to knock down candidates that are doing well. Nope. Stephen, you're wrong. You're wrong. He is not. You are wrong about Tallarico. I saw your name before. I thought that was you, but you are wrong. Tallarico is not the guy that we want. And I mean, I don't know. Stephen Lawrence appears to be a real person, but consider this. Again, 2020, the voters gave Blue MAGA, the Democrats, all of them, the power to stop this rise of fascism. They're refusing to do it. Christian nationalism. I mean, we can't be repeating religion all the time. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear a single word from a politician about their religion. I do not want to hear any of it. Even if they're claiming to use Christianity to push back on Christian nationalism and white supremacy, it doesn't belong in our discourse because Muslims aren't allowed to go out and preach their religion, and Buddhists and atheists, nobody's allowed to say that. Christianity needs to be out of politics. Get it out. No more YT dues. I know what that means. Yep, I don't like him. And I don't like that he's been lifted up. He is a state representative who is not qualified to run for the position of Senate. We don't know enough about him. And he has aligned himself with James Carville, Stephen Lawrence. He has aligned himself with James Carville. James Carville has said things, in my opinion, which are openly racist. And if Tallarico was legit, he'd be denouncing James Carville. So get with the program, Stephen Lawrence. Go look up what things James Carville has said. He is toxic. And every black person I have talked to, and I talk to a lot of them, says that James Carville pushes people out of the Democratic Party. Why do we have a guy like James Carville in the party, who is another example of Blue MAGA, when his presence causes us to lose 1 million votes? All right. I don't either, Judith. So Lefty Prophets here. Good morning. And okay, I want to pause for a second and say I am going to cut it short today. I hope, Stephen, I hope you're listening, and I hope you're willing to give this a fair shot, because there's plenty of evidence that shows that Tallarico is a problem. Blue MAGA doesn't like Jasmine Crockett because she's outside of their mechanism. She can't be controlled. She can do grassroots. She is one of these people that's powerful. I mean, you saw Blue MAGA. They tried to hold down Mamdani. They were willing to lose that seat. and put in a guy with credible accusations of sexual misconduct instead of Mamdani because they saw Mamdani as a threat to their power structure. They've seen Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez as a threat to their power structure because she can get so many donations. She doesn't need the Democratic Party. She doesn't need the corruption. What we need is it all spread out, all these individual fundraisers who can raise money where the people can decide, and we don't have shadow groups dumping millions in, elevating falsely Tallarico's national presence. He requires all that outside money for people to pay attention to him. The oligarch-controlled media focuses on him over Jasmine Crockett, which is unfair. And again, Jasmine is the one who is qualified. She is the one who is qualified. He is not qualified. She has held congressional seat. He has only worked at the state level. We've seen what she's done year after year after year. We haven't seen him before 3 months ago. It's ridiculous we're even having this debate. It's offensive, actually. It's entirely because of racism that we haven't already dismissed James Tallarico. He hasn't put in his dues. He flat out hasn't. And that has always been the case in the racist United States. Yeah, we absolutely. I mean, we need to put as many black women into positions of power or women in general. But I wanted to say, I'm going to cut it short exactly like 5 minutes before 9 because I want you to all go over to the Daily Whatever when I get done here. All right? Because on the Daily Whatever today, they have, Racist USA. On the Daily Whatever, they are going to be talking to Francesca Hong. And Francesca Hong is running for governor in the state of Wisconsin. I have interviewed her twice. I, in my lifetime, have never been more excited about a candidate than I am about Francesca Hong. She's fantastic. She's kind. And the other thing is, too, what we see is there are candidates that are willing to talk to me. I'm not an unreasonable person. I will talk to them. You can watch these interviews. I'm not screaming and yelling profanities at them. I'm asking them questions, though. I'm talking about things that concern me as a real person, as a dad, as a working class person who's trying to survive. I have a right to talk to my representatives. And the Blue MAGA group, Jeffries is never going to talk to me. Pete Buttigieg is never going to talk to me. Nancy Pelosi is never going to, because they want to control their narratives. They want to go on these media groups that ask them predetermined questions, and they get all touchy. If I ask, it's like, can you explain that? That actually doesn't make sense what you just said. Can you explain that? They get furious because they are the same as the Republicans. Republicans do the same thing. I watched an interview the other day where somebody was asking a Republican congresswoman, I think it was. She just said, well, Iran has killed thousands of Americans. Like, well, where is what the reporter said? Where did that happen? And she just flipped out. It's like, look, that's an honest question. You just said it happened. I want proof. Where did it happen? And they get mad. Same thing. Blue MAGA does the same thing. So you should only trust politicians that are willing to talk to people like me or other people like me, independent journalists. Blue MAGA deliberately freezes us out. The right has their hate groups, which they elevate, right? We've seen it. People like Joe Rogan and Charlie Kirk, they get all kinds of money. They get $100 million contracts. Democrats do not come and talk to people like me. And I've got a huge following here. I mean, it's not the biggest following in the world, but it's a big following. If they're going to do a town hall where they talk to 50 people, they'd want to jump on in the convenience of their home, jump on their cell phone and talk to me for 30 minutes and potentially reach 20,000 people. There is no scenario in which that doesn't make sense. It's convenient. It's easy. That they refuse to do it is because they do not want to elevate a platform like mine. In doing that, they could build me up and other creators who are right-wing creators so we could fight back against or other left-wing creators so we could fight back against the right-wing hate messaging. There's no response. Blue MAGA doesn't want a response because they make more money when Republicans win elections. So let me keep going through here. Yep. Judith agrees with me. In her opinion, Carville is a racist. We can't have racists in the Democratic Party, and they defend it, and we can't have these Democrats who accuse us of doing what they're doing. Yep. All right, keep going. Yep, they don't. I mean, we got to have more black women in our government. They are unfairly represented. They have a lack of representation. We need them. We need more black women in politics. We need them in education. Everything. It's like in every place. And they above anybody else have been targeted by this regime to lose their jobs. Let me roll through here. Hey, Elizabeth, always great to see you. And again, I want to say, I'm going to cut it short today, 5 minutes to 9, because I want everybody to go watch Francesca Hong with the Daily Whatever. Please do that. But I'm fine too. I mean, I launched that thing today. I said, my article today was called I endorsed Jasmine Crockett, and I got eviscerated by Blue MAGA. And I'm gonna lose followers today. I'm gonna lose paid subscribers because people are but I have to speak the truth. I have to speak the truth as I see it because we've seen the Democrats lose and lose and lose, and they refuse to change their strategies. They keep with this nonsense about how they have to appeal to moderate Republicans. Again, if you want to appeal to Republicans, run as a Republican. If you want to appeal to Democrats, run as a Democrat. And the fact that we allow them to say that nonsense and people are afraid to speak out. And it makes me a little nervous too. I saw that, okay, I lost a bunch of subscribers and paid supporters because I'm speaking out about these flaws that the Democrats do again and again and again that get us into this place. They refuse to do anything in 2020. You know, we have to speak out about that. And it can't be that, it's like, okay, I'm going to lose my support because I'm speaking the truth. I'm given a strategy that will actually work instead of repeating the same old lies and the strategy and the corruption that got us here. Kids have been raped. You guys, it's gotta just stop here now. We gotta make this stop. The Democrats sat on the Epstein files for 4 years. That's Blue MAGA. They protected them as much as the Red MAGA did. It's obvious. So I gotta have people stop coming after me about these things, accusing me of being divisive. You gotta open your eyes to what's going on, and people know it. And the thing is, when I've been talking to Natasha Kaye and I've been talking to Zuri Stevens, all these people know, and like all these years, they've been saying the same thing. That the Democratic Party has a real racism problem. There is a real racism problem within the Democratic Party. We have to fix that. And you know what? If we start attacking the racists within the Democratic Party, we will actually appeal to moderate Republicans. I guarantee you. If we start denouncing people like Nancy Pelosi, you're going to see Republicans coming and voting Democrat. I guarantee that's a strategy that will work. It's like they always want to sacrifice me. Let's sacrifice the billionaires. You got these Blue MAGA. They're the people that want to sacrifice the trans community. Unacceptable. Trans people are people. We defend trans people. If we do not defend everybody, everybody dies. That is a hard line. Trans people are people. So you look at this is a good litmus test. Any Democrat who is willing to sacrifice people, transgender people, is Blue MAGA. They are our enemy. They will not stand up for you if they refuse to stand up for the transgender community. And in this last year, I've gotten to know a lot of people. I didn't really know members of the transgender community before this year. I've gotten to know so many through this wonderful platform on Substack. They are the kindest people I have ever met. They are just bar none, just a wonderful group of people. I'm looking forward to learning more and more and more about. Yeah, it's not my life. And it's so fascinating to learn about. And my heart goes out to them, the compassion, and the transgender community is always targeted. This is unfair. It's unacceptable. We have to stand up for them. We have unity with them. And if the Democrats are insisting we have to sacrifice somebody, let's sacrifice Blue MAGA then. I want to keep the transgender community and I want to get rid of these Democrats who vote against our best interests and who only use the power of the government to enrich themselves. When you start talking like that, you have unity then with the so-called moderate Republicans. They will come if there are any left, because there is corruption within the Democratic Party. And the people I know, the members of the Black community who have worked within the Democratic Party know that exists. We have to first remove the racism from the Democrats. We have to take the parking brakes off their opposition because they refuse to oppose. They've actually been helping the fascists. That's where the fight is. Starts today. Jasmine Crockett is running for office. I believe that primary is today. All right, let me go through this. I heard her last night on Substack. Who'd you hear? Judith Fran or Natasha Kaye? Or there's probably a lot. Sosa said, my electricity just went. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Soso. I hope. Oh, that must have just been your battery. Mason said, this is a country where racism is blessed and white supremacy. Yeah, I mean, the ideology of the United States is white supremacy, and we have to obliterate it. White supremacy needs to go. It is an evil ideology. It is an ideology of genocide and child abuse, child rape. It all comes from white supremacy. And we can't allow there to be Democrats who endorse any of those ideas. Get them out, Okay. And Polly says, a correction from earlier, Taylor Rico grew up in Baptist church and seminary was Presbyterian. Yeah, I don't trust him. Hey, I don't know him well enough. I haven't seen him in Congress fighting for us. I've just seen him making promises. And, people I've heard who've been commenting from Texas say they don't trust him either. He doesn't belong there. He doesn't have the profile. He's not at the same level as Jesmyn Crockett. He hasn't proven it. It's an illusion. Courtney, you're absolutely right. Heaven forbid the party prioritize people over money. We absolutely have to make that our demand because you say that, and both sides, blue MAGA and red MAGA, come at you. Well, you can't expect the government to make your life better. Then what is the government for? I mean, is it supposed to protect the country? Are we spending all this money in the military to protect the country? Isn't that supposed to make my life better? Isn't that inherent to a government? That the government is there to serve the people? Don't be brainwashed. We got to shake off that brainwashing. And yes, it is so intense right now because when I sit here and say blue MAGA is as big a problem as red MAGA, people start to cringe and they're going to push away from me. I'm saying it now. I'm taking the risk because I think everybody's sick of it. I think everybody in the United States is sick of the useless Democrats. And look at the polls. They've never been lower. They're lower than the Republicans are useless. The Democrats are useless. Popularity is at a record low. Now's the time. Now's the time. So be bold. And yeah, you're going to be attacked by a bunch of bots who are going to sit there and say that you're being divisive, even though they're the ones who constantly attack all the candidates that we want that are actually gaining some steam and some traction and could actually win. It's blue MAGA that says racist and misogynistic things like black women, cannot get elected. Well, we got to go with the mediocre white guy because he's more electable. Racist, misogynistic. That's blue MAGA. It has to stop. And we have to speak out about that. We have to start demanding these things because white supremacists steal and there's no fight that's too small for them. They will attack everything, right down to forcing kids to say under God in the Pledge of Allegiance, which they shouldn't have to do. And they can do this. They can delay because the structure of abuse and oppression has been constructed. So all they have to do is delay. They don't even have to build anymore. They just have to defend it and delay. So our position is aggressive. It's much more difficult, but we are on the side of what is right. And what is right and what is going to work is not doing the same old thing and listening to billionaires. You have to listen to working class people who have had their backs against the wall, who have struggled, who know the struggle, who haven't had it easy their whole life, who weren't born with a silver spoon in their mouth, who didn't have their own private chef at their own privately funded school where they got to stop 3 hours a day to have a massage, and they hired some other kid to take the tests. I was the kid they hired to take the tests, right? So I'm the one who knows a few things. And we got to just stop allowing blue MAGA to combine with red MAGA to fucking destroy our lives. Do you honestly think, on the radio the other day, do you think this president we have now will hesitate to launch a nuclear strike somewhere to defend him, to save himself because the walls are closing in on this Epstein thing? He has used the military to launch attacks on U.S. cities. He attacked Portland, Los Angeles, Minneapolis. His soldiers, his paramilitary force, his secret police has shot people dead in the street. This guy's going to blow up. I think he's going to blow up a U.S. city before he's done. What assurance do I have that this president is not capable of that? He's never done anything honestly in his whole life. He's cheated at everything he's ever done. You're telling me the one honest thing he did was the 2024 election? We know he cheated in 2016. That's his 34 counts of felony. We know he cheated in 2020. He was under indictment for cheating then too. And blue MAGA's in there acting like he's a reasonable person. You got to oppose everything he does. He's going to kill the whole world. 152 kids dead in that attack, that illegal terrorist attack launched by U.S. military forces on Iran. Has to stop. All right, I'm going to scroll through. I've got 10 more minutes, so I guess I got all right up. Stop the insanity, and I agree. There's a whole supremacy. Yes, there's a whole supremacy issue. There is. And that's what we got to fight against. And white supremacy is child abuse. And white parents abuse their children, and that's how we get white supremacy. And it is just the traditional American values. You can watch Happy Days, and that is a document on how to indulge white supremacy programming or how to enact white supremacy programming in kids. Thank you, Polly, for the hearts. Stop the culture wars. I mean, we got to defend people. We have to, we should embrace diversity. White supremacy is only one culture, so that is the culture war. They want to obliterate all other cultures. They are an idea of genocide. Thank you, Art B3ing. I appreciate you. I love you, so I love you too. Oh, Natasha's here. I hope she got to hear some of I was singing Natasha K's praises just now. And it's so important because the Black community has been telling us that the Democrats can't be trusted. They're blue MAGA. They are more interested in using the government to enrich themselves, to help the people. And it is only now that more people are standing up. If you speak out about this, you are going to be hit by 1,000 bots, right? They're going to attack you. It happened to me yesterday. I blocked, I think, 30 to 50 accounts yesterday because everyone's just attacking me with their nonsense. I had a guy, my article that I wrote this morning, it's like, well, you're saying a bunch of false things. What? What false things? It's the same MAGA, red MAGA arguments. They just like, well, you're saying false things, but they don't get into specifics. They make these generalizations. That's how white supremacy talks. That's how they deflect. They don't claim themselves to be white supremacists. They claim they're Christians. They claim, oh, there's a war on Christianity because they know it'd be unpopular to say there's a war on white supremacy. There needs to be a war on white supremacy. All right. See you, Elizabeth. I was glad to see you. I saw that she left. She probably left 20 minutes ago. That's nice. Maze, I love you too. Thank you so much. Those are so lovely. I love those comments. Yeah, but I want people to be prepared. Courtney says, let them attack. We can all hold the line together. But yeah, I mean, I'm losing subscribers because of this. So I mean, but I am confident. What I'm confident in, because I lost subscribers because of that post I put out today, but I gained some too. I am going to gain more, and I am not going to stop speaking what I feel to be the truth. And this is a hard one because we're up against everybody, essentially. We're up against all the money, but we already knew that. All we got is the numbers. We don't have the money. The evil people have all the money. So never be afraid to speak the truth when you see it and sit down and say, look, it doesn't make sense. Tallarico just does not have the resume that Jasmine Crockett does. He just does not. That is a verifiable fact, all right? And they're going to come up with all this nonsense and throw all these illusions, and I heard this, and rumors and all these things. None of it's substantiated. The media is going to prop up Tallarico. They're going to disregard Crockett because the establishment doesn't want a person who can fundraise on her own and actually defend the American people, who potentially would come on. I think Jasmine Crockett might be a person who would come and talk to me. I know she's talked to Ellie Leonard, at least on the phone. I don't know if she's done it publicly. She will do that. So we need to demand our representatives talk to real people. It doesn't make any sense that they wouldn't come and talk to a person like me unless they're deliberately trying to maintain a narrative of control, where the people aren't aware of what's going on. Getting people all riled up. All I'm asking for is universal health care, universal education, and a government that works for us and defends us and doesn't allow a child rapist to go free, and that's what we've seen. Like I said, those Epstein files goes back to like 96. There's multiple administrations, and it has always been red MAGA or blue MAGA controlling everything, and they've always shut out the progressives. All right. Courtney says the biggest mistake of the last few years has been assuming he'd never do that. Yeah, I mean, they allow it because they're only worried about their donations. Neurodivergent, good to see you. Says when people like I don't like to say his name, go scorched earth, the president. They go for maximum damage. I worry will potentially be worse than U.S. I mean, yeah, this is what I talked about yesterday. This attack on Iran. He's mad. He's throwing a temper tantrum. He's so weak. He has to throw a temper tantrum because of the tariff decision of the Supreme Court. And so he goes and murders a bunch of kids in Iran, 152 innocent children. They all had parents. What are we up to now? 500 lives just destroyed because this evil criminal decided he had to go and just because he felt weak and he has to throw a temper tantrum. He exists in an eternal present. He never considers consequences. Somebody pushes him, he kills somebody. He kills some innocent kids. Got to stop. Thank you, Miranda. I'll publish the replay in a little bit. Let's see here. MAGA needs to be a footnote in history overnight. Yeah, but it's just really difficult because blue MAGA is just as bad as red MAGA, and we have to purge the Democrats of blue MAGA before we can fight red MAGA. That's just really that's the only strategy that's going to work. Neurodivergent says, I think I'm still too low profile for many bots. I don't get much harassment. Oh, I get it all the time. Oh, Courtney, you're just wrong. You're making me uncomfortable. Yeah. Regina, you gained me. Thank you, Regina. I appreciate you. And all the support really helps. Neurodivergent says, I got unsubscribed from Elizabeth Raven. Yeah, that happened to me too. I mean, there are these attacks. It's important to note that. That's why it's best to become, if you can, upgrade to paid. And like I would say, I have that code on my I'd rather be writing page at the bottom of every article. You can subscribe for as little as $20 a whole year. So that guarantees you get the emails. But other than that, you'll be in danger of getting unsubscribed. I mean, this was the first month. February, I just got the report. February is the first month I lost like 10 subscribers. So basically a net zero. But other than that, I've been going steadily upwards. But there's a force now. They don't want me talking, but they can't stop it. Nope. I mean, once the truth is out, it's out. But it requires all you guys and your support coming here this morning. I didn't know if I was gonna have time for this. I had to drop off my car this morning to get the brakes fixed, so but I was glad I was able to get here. Oh, good. I'm already down to the end. No more comments, please, because I've gotta leave in a few minutes. Like I said, I want you all guys to go to the Daily Whatever. Please go to the Daily Whatever and watch, Fran Hong. She goes by Fran. She's wonderful. She's a candidate. If you guys can support her campaign, honestly, it almost brings me to tears. The idea if I could play just a tiny part, a tiny role in getting her elected to governor of Wisconsin, that would be my contribution to this whole fight. Hi, Kat. Good to see that you're here. That would be my contribution to this fight, and I would cry. I cried in 2024 for a long time. I cried a lot of days. Uh, but if I could actually make that contribution in these midterms to get a couple of these progressive candidates I've been supporting elected and into office, what else could we do? A small part to get them. They're doing great work. Francesca Hong you're going to love her. When you guys go and listen to her speak, she's an authentic human being who has worked. Yep, voting day for Crockett. Make sure we get Crockett elected. But and then all these and if you know these candidates, get them on, have them come talk to me. We'll get them more visibility. All of you guys keep doing it. And those candidates are willing to share these interviews to their emails so I get more followers that way. We're going to build that way. That's how we rise together. But it's got to be outside because the establishment, blue MAGA, red MAGA, they are aligned to hold us down. We're not going to let them hold us down because we're the workers. We're the ones who produce something. All they do is spend. We do not need blue MAGA or red MAGA. We need representatives who support working class people who create and build the society. Yep. And Jesus says, Tallarico's the privilege of being white and Bible. Yep. I mean, he doesn't deserve all the attention he's getting. He shouldn't even be in this race. Uh, I don't know who you're referring to there, Courtney. I'll leave that one. Scrolling down. Yep. Okay. I'm from Illinois, but always pay attention to our northern neighbor. Yeah. Oh, Fran from Wisconsin would be great. Neurodivergent just said that they had to resubscribe to me too. So that's why there's the subscriber erosion. I'm a target, folks. I'm a target. Honestly, I do not care because we've already seen from this regime that they're willing to sacrifice us. The Republicans do not care about human life. What are we going to do? There's no protection in compliance. We have to fight back. We have to get fighters in charge. We can't sit here and cower away from these bots, the blue MAGA bots, who accuse us of being divisive when it is the establishment Democrats who hold down good candidates like Mamdani, and they hold down candidates like AOC, and they hold down candidates like Kamala Harris, and they roll over and they allow Republicans to steal the elections. We should be mad. Our rightful choice was Kamala Harris, but there are powerful people, blue MAGA and red MAGA, who are in those Epstein files, and they knew that if a former prosecutor for child trafficking crimes was allowed into the office of the presidency, it'd be game over. You think Kamala Harris would not allow for that? She wouldn't have been slow walking these files. No black woman would. It's only white men that allow that kind of stuff to go on. And so if you are in Texas, please please vote for Jasmine Crockett, and also tell your friends to vote for Jasmine Crockett. There's plenty of time. Do it today. Don't spread all these false arguments. Don't think you're being responsible by listening to the lies of blue MAGA, because what the American public needs is a black woman in charge, as Zuri Stevens says. All right, it says 8:57, so I'm going to leave it at that. Yes, we need a recount on Kamala. Republicans get to recount every single election 10 times. We're not allowed to. That's bullshit. Why do they get special privileges that we don't get? Kathy says, when in the live, it wants me to subscribe even after I have, and you show up in my live alert, so maybe there's just a glitch too. It's true, but I did know Elizabeth Raisman did lose hers. She showed that. I don't watch my is Rise Together a new thing? Oh, maybe that's why neurodivergent. Yes. I have 2 Substacks. Rise Together is my other Substack. So that would explain that one at least. So that's one less conspiracy. But yes, people do lose people have been experiencing subscriber erosion. Where should we be going to hear Francesca? Actually, let me find that. Let me just give me 1 second here. It's the Daily Whatever Show. I'm going to get on it. So it should appear here. I'm going to pry that link there. That should do it. and you should be able to find it there. So let's go. That should be starting here in a couple minutes. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you, all you wonderful people. Check out the article I wrote today, the wonderful article I wrote about, Blue MAGA, explaining it. We are in this fight. We know our enemy. It is a big task, but once we are truthful about who our enemy is, then we are empowered to fight back. We're empowered to rise together. We're empowered to establish the government that not only we need, but the one that we deserve. We have to stop allowing rich people to control us and lie to us and deceive us and make us fight each other. So that's perfect. But yes, please join me. I will be in the chat. I'll chat with you guys in the chat. Here's the link. That it is the Daily Whatever Show. I think you'll find it there. I'll be in the chat on the Daily Whatever Show. I can talk with you there some more. But for now, I'm going to leave this one off because that one is about to start. And then later on today at 10 o'clock, I'll be on with Nick Barrow too. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for your support. Subscribe both to Rise Together, and I'd rather be writing if you can. Become a paid subscriber if you are able. But all my content is free, because my job here is to combat the tide of hatred and lies put out by Red MAGA and now Blue MAGA, and actually teach and validate us all and tell the truth. Like, we know, because deep in your heart, you know they've always been lying to us. And we're done with it. We got to stand up for the survivors and those that didn't survive. We are going to rise together and we're going to win. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to leave it for now. See you in a little bit over at the Daily Whatever.